and I get this diatribe about, well, it comes from this and that, and you can't get outside the dome. That has nothing to do with volcanoes.
No, because I'm pointing
So
out that
can we
ball
get back
earthers
to the
ask
actual
very, very
question?
silly questions like, what's under the earth? What's
Yeah, no, he
inside the
can't,
volcano?
Lel. It's okay.
Didn't he
I'll
finish?
probably interrupt him a few times to see if he dare to mute me.
I
When
thought he
you are
finished,
being rude to
Jose.
people, Kimo, when you are rude to people, I'm gonna be rude to you, and I hope, motherfucker, yeah, you don't fucking mute me.
Jose, I thought he was finished. Come on, don't be like
Asshole.
that. So the point is that
Well said.
No, you need to let people talk. I'm gonna mute you if you keep cutting Layla off like that.
well,
So,
look,
go ahead, Layla. Finish what
people
you were
are
saying.
allowed to talk. You just like you are talking.
Oh, I finished. It's just funny. I asked a simple question about the heat of volcanoes, and we're off on tangents about getting outside the dome, which I never even mentioned the dome. Great, the
Because
dome
Chemo
can
knows
exist.
they have no argument for plate tectonics. We've been through this with him before, and it comes
No.
out really badly for their side.
Don't mess
Apparently,
around, Sean. Okay?
Has nothing to do with glaciers.
Don't ever do that when we're in the middle of a discussion. Make
Well,
an
I have a
important
question
point.
back for Leo. Hold on, Chemo. I have a
Don't
question
mute
back
me,
for
Sean.
Leo.
We're going to start a big
No, that's
problem
me.
in here. Right?
You
Don't
don't
just
cut
wade in
people-
here. You're not a
you
flat earther.
don't
You're a man
cut
who
people
doesn't
off.
know what the shape.
You
1 minute you're a flat
conversation
earther, next minute
I'm
you're a
going
ball
to
earther.
mine.
You don't know what time of day it
Now,
is, where you live, and you're trying to make
you are
decisions
a
on about
you can
how we
have
should talk about these
to mute
things.
you if you cut people off in the middle
No
of
one's
the
being cut off.
conversation.
You're cutting me off right now.
Let me
Yes, I
address
am, because
Leo.
you're not letting me
Yeah,
talk.
you're cutting me off. You've come in to say, oh,
Guys.
Chemo, I'm going to control the way you speak. That's what you got to say. Well, send it in a message and I'll
I'm gonna
reply back to you in
control
due course.
You cut people off. Yes, I'm going
Guys,
to
let me
control
address
that.
Leo. Let me address Leo, guys. All right, Leo, where does this heat come? Does this heat come from deeper than 8 miles on your globe model?
Well, apparently so, because lava can go down as far as it wants. There's no limitation on how far liquid can go through the earth.
So the heat on Earth is coming from this liquid magma heat that's coming from deeper than 8
No, I'm
miles.
talking about. I'm not saying that all the heat in the earth comes from liquid magma. The heat in volcanoes to heat up the lava, where does it come from? That's the
Where does
question.
it come from on your model?
It comes from the core of the earth and the
So
rotation
deeper than 8
causing
miles.
Hold
right,
on.
Deeper than
Hold
8.
on.
I got
Can
it.
I
All right.
finish my statement before you interrupt me? Convection currents, which are caused by multiple things like the Earth's rotation, causes the heat to rise and heat up the liquid, which we call lava. And after there's enough pressure, the volcano explodes and spews out rocks, which we call lava rocks. And that's what the basic idea of volcanoes on the rotating sphere of the Earth.
Are you done? All right. So it's coming from deeper than 8 miles. So neither.
Jeremy, if
nobody's
you're in
been
an
deeper
elementary
than-
school, you can
nobody's
sit
deep,
in
been
on the
deeper than
class
8.
and learn
Oh
about
my God!
plate
Here comes
tectonics,
Stone.
bro.
Can we get some
Raise your
moderation
hand,
on
Stone.
please? Can we get some moderation on Stone?
I was just going to tell you, man, if you're in an elementary
so
class, you can
we
go
know
sit
that
in on a
neither of
class
us
and
have
learn
been-
about plate
Stone.
tectonics, bro. You can
I'm
learn
trying to
about this
respond to
stuff.
Leo. Shut up.
Well, I was just going to let you know, since you're already in a little
Just
school.
shut up.
Or what, Jeremy? What are you going to
Wait,
do?
wait,
gotta
I
get some-
agreed
is
with
there a
I agree
moderator
with
in
Stone. I
here?
gave a very Hold on, Jeremy, chill out. I agree
I'm
with
never going to
Stone.
get to address Leo. All right. Leo,
You will, you will.
question. I have
Jeremy,
a
Chris,
question
Leo,
on
Chris,
for it.
Chris,
And
let him
literally
respond to you,
nobody will
man.
let me.
I will, but I just want to state one thing really quick.
No, let Jeremy finish so it's not a situation of back and forth cutting off. Let him finish.
I let you spew your bullshit. Now it's time for me to spew my bullshit. Neither of us have been deeper than 8 miles. So on your model, the coming from deeper than 8 miles. On my model, than 8 miles. So neither
Invalid.
of us.
I've never been to China, but China exists.
Why are you cutting me off? Why are you
Let
cutting me off?
Jeremy
Your
finish.
argument's
Finish your bullshit,
invalid.
bro.
I've never been to China, but China exists. I don't have to go to volcanoes to know they
All
exist.
right. Apparently, I can't. You know,
No, just go ahead, man.
biased
Just go ahead.
or
Chris,
something.
just come in when he's done. Just finish up, Jeremy.
Yeah, so nobody can verify where the heat's coming from. You don't know if it's coming from the center of Earth. All we know for sure is that it's coming deeper than 8 miles. In response to your China nonsense, we can go verify China if we want. Let me know when we can go verify the center of Earth magma's coming from. Thank you.
And again, it's another silly
Invalid
point
argument.
raised by
I've never
Chris.
been to China.
These
I don't have
points
enough.
are not relevant, are they? I mean, how does anyone know what's below 8 miles? As Jeremy's just said. Obviously,
I
you're
have
a
never been to
nonsense,
China,
Kimo.
I don't have money to
Absolute
go to
nonsense.
China. Prove to me it exists. Prove to me China exists, Jeremy. I don't have enough money to go there. Prove to me it
Again, down the
exists.
silly rabbit hole, Chris. I mean, you prove China exists. I mean,
No,
where's the
that's
wild
what you're saying.
claim
We've never
with
been to the
China?
center of the earth. I've never been to China. Same argument.
Yeah, but what's the wild claim with China? Not wild.
I'm making
No
an
big deal.
argument that I've never been there, don't have enough money to go there. Prove to me that exists. It's the same argument.
It's not a
that
big
I've never been to
deal,
the center of
though.
the earth,
China is not a big
so
deal.
I don't know what it is.
Not a big deal, though.
So your contention is that China doesn't exist. You believe China
No,
doesn't exist.
my
Is that your
contention is
argument?
that your argument is
So the
invalid.
existence
I
of
have
China
never
isn't
been
in
to China, therefore, and I don't have money to go there, therefore, it can't exist. Just like
That's a
our
weak
version of the
argument,
center of the
Chris.
earth
That's
can't
too
exist
weak for
because I've
me.
never
Yeah.
been there.
I can't respond to such a
That's weak
weak
talk.
argument. You think China doesn't exist? Seriously, Chris. This is where the globe
Yeah,
earthers have come. They think China
is the
does not exist.
Is the existence of China in contention or not?
No.
Because I
It's a
think
very
it exists.
weak
Chemo,
argument.
You are
think
not-
China exists?
You
Yeah.
are not listening to the full argument. Your argument that we have not
China
been to the
doesn't
center of
exist
the
and
earth,
you
so we
can't
cannot
prove-
know what it is. Therefore, I have not been to China.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is either. Is the
Yeah.
same exact argument. You just don't like it because we know China exists.
Okay, is China based on a mathematical model? No. Is the globe, the core, the
the
spin,
size of China
based,
is mathematical. Yes.
not based on a mathematical model? Not China, no.
Yeah.
No,
But then
the
square
center of
mileage
the
is
earth
mathematics.
and how we know what the center of the earth is made out of and what it's doing is not based on a mathematical model. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's based on the presupposition that the earth is a ball with a core spinning, flying through space. On the mathematics.
No, it's not. So that's a misrepresentation of what is actually occurring. So we look at the evidence, right? We look at the things that are occurring, and it comports
Okay.
with our understanding of, for example, mechanical waves.
Yeah,
We
no,
know how
you told
mechanical
us-
waves operate,
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
you
From the
said
point.
seismic waves fly through the earth and tell you that there's a core. But again, that's based on the presupposition that the earth is a ball spinning, flying through space. Now, as Jeremy just said, Jeremy's outlined that we've only been 8 miles back. Now
I've
you
never made
can't.
the assumption
All you can
about
do
what
beyond
shape the
8
earth
miles.
is.
Hold on, Chris. All you can do beyond 8 miles, Snack, is guess. Right? Guess.
That's not true. That's not true.
But why is
That's
it not
simply not true.
Why? Why?
You're confusing verificationism for science.
No, I'm saying if we can go down 8
Verificationism is
miles,
different than science. So we can look and see,
Hold on.
for example, we understand how waves operate, right?
Okay.
So whenever we see waves operating a certain way, we know that waves travel at a certain speed through different mediums. For example, this is just an example, one of my favorites. So when we see waves moving in a certain way, we can, by using the knowledge we have about waves, determine what medium that wave has moved through. That's how ultrasound works. That's how detecting earthquakes
Okay,
works.
so let me give you an example,
That's how
Snack. Okay.
all that detecting tsunamis
Okay,
works. That's
let's
how
get-
we
okay.
have verifiable proof that this
All
is
right, you don't keep
that our
going on.
knowledge
Let's
of waves
get
is
to-
accurate because we can use it to make predictions accurately.
Let's get to nitty gritty. So, are you saying if we take a basketball and we center, I don't know, like gold or an iron, like another, so we got a ball within a ball, and then, or like a ball within a ball within a ball. So we've got 3 balls inside the ball. Are you saying your device could fire through the ball and tell us what the inside metal is in the middle without you looking and knowing?
Yes, that's literally how ultrasound
That's
works.
what we want to see, yeah. So to demonstrate that, let's have a look, and then obviously you want to see.
Go get an ultrasound.
No, you demonstrate what the metal
Go.
is.
I'm telling you. I'm not able to personally demonstrate this, but
How do we know
I've
it's
seen
true
people
then?
get ultrasounds. I've seen people successfully get treatment by using this technique, by using sound waves, to determine what's going on in somebody's body. Anytime a woman goes, they can tell you the gender of the baby because ultrasounds work.
Yeah, but can they see inside the baby with that ultrasound? Inside the baby?
Yes, they could.
Yes, if it was a strong
Yes.
enough
And
ultrasound,
then,
yes.
and then you can see inside the heart, inside
You
There's
look
something called
inside their
X-rays.
baby's anatomy. They look for problems in their spine and their heart and things like that. They look right through the baby.
Yeah. So you can see inside the baby. Okay, fine. You see inside the baby. Now, can you see inside the bones?
Yes.
Yes, it's called an X-ray. Yes, you can see. Okay,
excellent.
but again,
taken an
it's the
X-ray
same
of
principle.
Okay,
Your
fine.
light waves
Taking
are
an X-ray
just
of the Earth. Yes.
they're waves.
And there's actually one machine that lets you see the baby's soul.
No, but you know what I
come
mean.
on,
So if
don't
you've
be
got a
stupid.
baby within a baby within a baby, how far can you penetrate?
Okay, don't be ridiculous.
Well, how
first
many
of all,
layers of the
I've
Earth
already
are
demonstrated my claim to be true.
How many layers of the Earth?
Right?
There are many
You
layers.
keep on saying, but what about this? But what about this? But what about that's not
Talking about looking through
anything.
a few inches of skin and liquid and tissue, and then comparing it.
I work with X-rays every single day. I guarantee you, they're not just seeing through a few inches of tissue.
Why are you funding muting me? You're talking about looking through a couple inches of skin and flesh, as opposed to looking through thousands of miles of dirt, rock, and whatever else may be under there. You have no idea. So.
Well, hang on. So what in principle would change what the effectiveness of this technique?
Want to see it? Take a snapshot of the Earth, X-ray of the Earth, and show us the core.
You think they're just using an X-ray machine to look through the Earth, or you think they're probably using something a lot more powerful?
Snap brought up X-ray. That sounds like a good idea. So Snap, show us an X-ray of the Earth.
Again, we don't have to use X-rays. Again, we can use we can look at waves, right? The way waves you move. X-rays would not be able to tell us this, right? So your argument, what you're doing is making an argument from incredulity, and you're misrepresenting. Oh, why don't you go take an X-ray? We don't have to, right? So instead of sending waves like ultrasound or waves of light like an X-ray, we can wait until there's waves from an earthquake, and we can detect those. And we can use those to make a determination based on our knowledge of how waves work to make a determination about what is the substance of the Earth.
Let Jeremy in now, because you're just going on and on.
Yeah, Jeremy. He's just constantly deafening himself. He doesn't want to hear what I have to say. So go ahead, Jeremy.
I just had to turn you down a notch. Your mic's like mad loud, bro. What's wrong with you?
Okay, you can just say, hey, turn it down a little bit. I got you.
Mad loud. But
I have a very sensitive microphone. Give me a second. I'll just turn it down right here. How's that? That better?
In terms of knowing what's further than 8 miles, we're going to be struggling unless we have this X-ray, like what Branch is showing here, to show inside the Earth. Now, do you have something like that?
Again, the principle still stands. We can make a determination about the makeup of a object by measuring the way at which waves pass through it. That's just a simple fact. You might not like it. It might not be something that you can easily wrap your head around, but the facts don't change.
It's not a fact if you're just determining something. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it is.
No, again,
we
have used this to make accurate predictions.
Well, based on the numbers, based on
lives
history,
are saved because we understand the way waves propagate through the Earth.
No, we actually don't, because we don't know what the shape is.
No, we absolutely do. That's how tsunami detectors work. Why do you think they're able to warn people that a tsunami is coming and save lives?
The shape of the Earth, Snack. We don't know what the shape is.
Why do you think that they're able to detect tsunamis and warn people that are hundreds of miles away?
Okay, let's begin. What is the shape of the Earth?
Spherical, roughly.
Spherical. Okay. What is the radius?
I don't have that memorized.
How do you know?
I'd have to remove other knowledge, like
you don't know the radius
what's the name of the Ninja Turtles? Yeah, that's irrelevant to this point.
You're the smartest man in the world, and you do not know the R value.
No,
what's the radius of your skull, Kimo?
Point.
What's your radius of your skeleton in your head, your skull?
It's not about me, Jose. It's about the shape of the Earth.
Good one.
We've
Got
been
him.
lied to about.
Yeah, but if I don't know the radius of my skull, that doesn't mean that my skull is not real. It's real, and it has a radius. I just don't know it.
How is Snack the smartest man on Earth and does not know the radius?
Just being the smartest man on Earth doesn't mean I memorize just all sorts of like numbers and stuff like that. It's my ability to think that makes me the smartest man on Earth, which seems to be something you lack.
Title from I took
Doesn't
that
even know the radius,
dude. Just go mop the floor, man.
3,950.
You go put some sawdust on some kid's puke, man. Don't worry about me.
that title.
Did you hear
No,
Snack?
you absolutely have it. You still think the Earth is flat? You're a fucking moron, Jeremy. Eat shit and die, you piece of fucking filth.
Jeremy, he doesn't know the radius.
Whoa, that was a little much.
No, it
I wouldn't even
wasn't.
refer to
fucking
him
stand,
as that
Jeremy.
title.
We're not his,
I
we're
took
not
that
his
title.
I mean,
parents.
you used to be okay, but now you're just scum. You're less than scum. You're less than chemo. You're literally one of the shittiest persons I know, Jeremy. No joke.
Why do you feel that way about Jeremy?
I mean, you should be glad. I think you're better than Jeremy. I think
It's not
Jeremy
about
has just
me.
become.
I'm
He's been
asking you
hanging
why
out too
you
much
think
with,
that way
with,
about
with
Jeremy.
the
What has he
worst of
done
the
to
worst
why
of
has
flat
Jeremy done to
earthers.
deserve that
And
from
instead
you?
of having his own personality, he's decided he wants to imitate Nathan and Percent and Witsit. So that's at least chemo. You have your own shitty personality. Jeremy doesn't even
has his
have a
own
shitty personality.
style.
He's co-opted somebody else's shitty
Jeremy,
personality
basically.
because he's fucking scum.
Well, hold on, man. To defend Jeremy, I mean, he has been kind of coming around a little bit. He's
Jeremy's
actually trying to
over the
do
top
observations.
these days.
He's actually looking for the truth, other than chemo.
Well, again,
No,
all
no,
I'm
I don't think Jeremy's looking for the
is,
truth. If you think he's looking for the
awareness.
truth, he's tricked you.
Nah, I asked you
Jeremy,
about the
are you
radius.
actually looking for the truth?
You don't even know what the radius is, but you're attacking Jeremy.
I don't care what the radius is. It's completely irrelevant.
So why is it Jeremy
to my
knows
point.
more about your heliocentric model
Don't
than
try
you?
and say, well, what about the radius of the? No, my point has nothing to do with the fucking radius of the Earth. My point has to do with the fact that we understand how waves propagate.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the radius.
Okay, well then,
Yeah, now
then
he
we're
wa-
not
he wants
talking
to
about the
change the
same
subject,
thing,
that's
so we
why.
can't have a conversation.
Chemo wants to change the subject, of course.
No, because he's saying we're on a globe, sphere, spherical object, and I'm like, well, how
Okay,
big is
but
it?
you're
that wasn't
derailing
the
the conversation now.
Yeah, main topic
wasn't
was
the
the other
conversation.
stuff. Yeah, that
Well,
wasn't the
he's
topic.
saying that his waves go through the ball and tell him there is a core, an iron core. Well, let's have a look then.
Yes, that's seismology. You
Well,
don't
go
know
on
how
then. If we're going
seismology
to
works?
accept it, we need to see how it's done. Let's have a look.
It doesn't have anything to do with the radius of the Earth. Seismology would apply regardless if
Fair enough.
the Earth
Let's
was the
see how
size of
you
a
perform
pencil
this.
or if it was the size of Jupiter.
Has anyone ever done this before, ever on Earth?
Yes, seismologists.
Has it ever been
Seismographs.
documented ever on Earth?
5,000 times a day.
Yes, but is this something that has been documented before by man?
5,000.
Yes. If you don't know this, you just haven't been
Seismologist.
paying attention.
Don't tell me what I'm
Holy
asking you,
crap.
Snack, about what you know. Can we see the seismology?
I've posted numerous times
Mhm.
the exact data that was gathered from the Sumatran earthquake.
Mhm.
Right? There's a nice website, and it shows
Mhm.
exactly what time the waves were detected.
Okay.
And by showing exactly what time waves were detected, they
Mhm.
can triangulate and they can make predictions and they can say exactly where the earthquake happened, exactly what time the earthquake happened. And
We're
you
not
can see it
interested in
pinging off all
earthquakes.
the different
I
seismographs.
think we need to clarify. We need to clarify how Kimo like to see this stuff right here. Is it you want to see it like if somebody turned the camera on and show it to you, like doing it live, or do you want a video? How do you want to see this, Kimo?
You know
You
us
ask him
very
to
well.
see
You
it.
know you know us very well. Yeah, we want to see somebody doing activity. So that means
How would you like to see that? Because papers have been posted with a lot of letters, a lot of equations on it. How would you like to see it
So
in that format, in a like a paper that have been proposed to scientists and
Bible,
stuff?
Jose,
Or how
not
do
a
you like to
letters.
see it, Kimo?
What? So you accept the Bible, do you?
How would you like to see it? So see
I
what
was
you
just
asking for. You say,
telling
let me
you,
see
you
it.
interrupted
How would you like
me.
to see it?
Okay.
Via what medium?
Okay, so we need to see activity. That means we need to see.
How would you like to see it? Through a video or a live test and demonstration? How would you like to see that?
So there are two ways, maybe three, but I can think of two. So right now we can be invited to see this being done live, verify the activity, or they can post it online. They can do the work, post it online, and then everyone can see it. That's what normal people do, is that they do something, they post it online, and then we can see around the world their activity.
Speaking of activity, it's like the Iceland volcano. You know how they always talk about this volcano in Iceland? You know that in propaganda, there are no volcanoes in Iceland.
Right.
Because if you look at a map, all the volcanoes are generally on the equator or near the equator. So
I'm a little confused here. I'm a little confused here, Kimo. What is it you exactly want to see someone doing?
Well, he's making a claim about the core, the iron core, And we're like, well, we've only dug down 8 miles. How on earth would you know what's below 8 miles? You haven't even been down there. And he's trying to say, well, I've got a device that tells me what's further than 8 miles. And we're like, okay, let's take a look. No one's hand-waving, dismissing anything. We just want to see what you've done. Now, normal people in the normal world usually record and document what they do and then post it online. Then the whole world can see what's been done.
So Mr. Victory at around 103 has posted an X-ray of the Earth's interior.
Ah,
so
excellent.
There you go.
Sounds good.
Well, what about the fact that this information is from the Russians? It can't be trusted to begin with. I don't understand why anybody would even. If the Russians are telling you it's 8 miles, it's probably 180 miles.
Oh yeah, bearded devil. X-ray reveals inner structure of Earth's ancient magma ocean. They've got one, Jeremy. Jeremy's still there. Look, they've got one, Jeremy. Well, that looks like a flat Earth. The inside the flat Earth. Yeah, I'm satisfied. It looks like the inside of the flat Earth. What we expect to see, a flat disc.
What's the flat Earth look like?
Well, we expect to see a disc within a disc within a disc within a disc if the Earth is a disc. Yeah.
Wait. So you're saying the flat Earth is a disc?
How deep are these discs?
Well, that's what you're showing here. You're showing me a disc. You're showing me inside the Earth, which is a disc. Yeah.
Chemo. No. See, you just told me that that's what you expect to see on a flat Earth. So now I'm asking questions about your expectations. So how deep is this flat Earth?
Well, it's gonna get a little bit crazy. Gonna get a little bit crazy. Again, this is just theories and stuff. No one actually knows for sure. But if we're dealing with electricity and magnetism, and the moon and the sun are turning, there could be something in the Earth turning, like what we're seeing here, controlling what's in the sky. Again, we don't know. Just speculate. Just nice stories, poetry, not useful for anybody. And then obviously, unless we go down there.
So you're telling me that the information that we're giving you about the center of the Earth, which fits our model, that you have no idea how it works on your flat Earth, is what you're saying. But you want to use the information to confirm that that it works on your flat Earth.
Yeah, but do you really believe that's inside the Earth?
Wait, no. See, this is your belief. This is what you said. You said that this is what is the expectation for a flat Earth. So now I'm trying to figure out what your flat Earth is, how it works.
We don't know how the flat Earth works, do we? We don't have a model.
Well, you've had 2,000 years to figure it out.
Yeah,
and
but
at this point, you don't even have a model, but you're using our information
but
to confirm your flat Earth and saying that it has an expectation.
Your microphone is terrible.
So if it has an expectation, so you have to figure out what the size is to fit that expectation that you're talking about. Using the information that we gave you.
Yeah, but if we did that, we'd have a model, right?
Yeah, so where's your model?
Don't have a model.
You just proposed a model.
Why not?
No, I mean, again, we can speculate with you guys, but models are not going to help anybody. They're just reifications, really.
Yeah, Kimo proposed a model. He told us at least an outer shape.
We live on a planet
rings, right?
No, if we live on a disc, we expect to see a disc underneath that disc. More discs.
Okay.
So it's a layer cake.
I mean, how big?
Yes, a layer cake, Earth.
Yeah, how big is it? Because if you have a center to it, then you have a depth to it.
Come on, get real, guys. Wake up. What do you mean, how big? Who has measured these things?
You made a claim and you say what was inside. It was a disc within a disc within a disc, one bigger than the other. Thank you, Beard the Devil. I could think only as a layer cake.
Well, that's what I was presented with, a disc, right? So I can think now, okay, a disc, they're looking in the Earth's meant to be a disc, like a pizza, whatever. Disc underneath that, what's the big deal?
Well, then what's keeping the magma in?
What about the fact that we know how far the sun can shine by, because we know that the differential between where a sunrise and a sunset is. So the Earth would be as big as the circuit of the sun and as wide as the sun could shine. How about that?
Did anybody shout it out, Shunji? Shout out to Shunji.
Oh, just like you, of course you would, because both of you are flip-floppers, right? 1 minute you're flat earthers, 1 minute you're globe earthers, flat globe. You just can't make your mind up, can you? It's where the
shout out to Shunji. Kimo, just shout him out. Shout him out, Kimo.
It's just where the pressure lies, yes? If there's less pressure there, you'll go over there. If there's more pressure, you'll keep away from that.
Hi, Amy.
So let's go back to your model there, Kimo.
Oh, we have a model now. Okay.
Yeah,
No, you said you have a model,
You said
Kimo.
that you have an expectation, so you have something in your mind for what that's supposed to look like. So
I can
how
only go
big
by
is it
what
again?
you showed. You showed me a disc. So, to me, that would...
No, I didn't show you anything. I explained to you that there in the chat that there were X-rays taken of the center of the Earth.
Hmm?
You know, based on the knowledge that we have of the spherical Earth. And you took that and said that that's the expectation for a flat Earth. So you have to explain to me what that expectation should look like.
Just like a disc within a disc within a disc. If we're on a disc. But I'm
So are we going down or up with that disc? Are those discs going down to a point? Are they going up to a point?
What you want about it? It just goes down in layers and layers. Down and down and down. Like a cake.
Like a tube?
Like a cake.
He said
like a
when you dig into the earth, like if you look at the Grand Canyon, the Grand
what?
Canyon has lots of layers, yes? So those layers would go all the way down.
Yeah, they go all the way down, but they have a bottom.
And when they dug in Russia, the 8 miles, they were finding different layers of the cake.
Yeah, that's apparent on the heliocentric model. That's perfect. So you're doing great at describing the heliocentric model at this point.
Well, again, they're only reifications, so it doesn't really matter. We can talk about models if you like, but remember one thing: it's not representing reality. Models.
Which part?
It's have truth mixed in.
There you go.
Yeah.
School them, tell them, because they seem to think, because I said that bearded dragon had a picture of inside the earth and it looked like a disc. Let's take a look. I'll show you what they showed. This is what they're talking about. Disc. So they show this disc here and say, "Oh, you've got a model now because you say it's a disc within a disc." But I'm like, well, what do we expect? I mean, if it's meant to be, if you want a model and that's what it would look like, you would expect that, right?
What am I looking at right here?
That's inside the Earth percent. That's what they think is inside the Earth.
So percentage, do you agree with Kimo that the flat Earth should be concentric circles leading down?
Yeah, they don't necessarily need to be perfect circles.
Yeah.
But you would expect
So
that it would get bigger as you go out.
So what's the depth?
Oh my gosh.
We only know like 8 miles. I'm sure it's a lot more than that, but we don't know.
So you don't know the depth of it. So how wide is it?
We don't know.
Who would know this bearded dragon? Who's going to know this?
Say what?
There's no measurement for how wide it is?
You sounded like Lael here. Who's going to know these
No,
things?
they don't let us go past, the coast of Antarctica. So.
Okay, but
oh really?
But
really? Because they have a sailing tournament around Antarctica.
Yeah, at the 60th parallel or above.
No, it goes all the way around.
Look into
Antarctica.
It. Your mic is that Sean, your mic is real messed up, man.
Look into it, Sean.
Is it mine?
They don't go like right to the ice wall. They stick to a route that's in and around the 60th parallel south.
Where's the ice wall?
Below that, for the most part.
Below that.
Way below that, for the most part.
How far below that?
Wait, if nobody's ever
according to we don't know, to be honest. I don't know, but according to the maps that you guys go by, it's way below that.
Hold on 1 second. It's bearded dragon. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah,
bearded dragon, your mic. Stop, dude.
Why not?
Stop. Bearded dragon, your mic is acting real funny.
Oh yeah, thanks, Kosher. Gotta let's talk though. We need freedom to express, to lie.
Shut the fuck up.
Let us express, Kosho. So, where were we, Bearded Dragon? Models. We don't have a model. And you're a fool for wanting a model because we know it's a reification. They're not representing reality in any form, okay? Because it's based on a presupposition that the Earth is the size, 3959. That means when you take that picture, you're saying that that image is so far away based on the presupposition, see? And that just brings more problems than answers in your camp.
Well, see, the problem is that people have gone out over time to measure this. You know,
Why do you always
throughout
say we
history,
don't-
people have taken measurements of this using surveying and you know, other things. So are you saying that all those measurements are wrong?
I mean, like, do we sound crazy saying that they're all lying, they're all wrong? I mean, I don't think we do. I mean, if you go and find someone and provide a person who's actually made these measurements, you'll be hard pressed. You will struggle to find any individual who's made the measurements that you're talking about. So, are we wrong to say they're all wrong? I don't think so. Not at this moment, no. What do you think?
So the measurements are right.
What?
So the measurements are right.
No, I'm saying nobody's actually been out there and measured these things, yes? I'm saying that you're telling us that somebody somewhere's done it, and then you're saying, well, is it wrong? And I'm saying, well, no one's actually ever done it. Who's been around the board? Who's measured it? Find one person, ever, anywhere. You'll never find them.
Are you saying that one person has to measure the entire Earth? Is that what you're saying?
10 people, the collective. Let's see them measure the Earth. Whoever. Any country.
Let's see somebody actually go around from the West Coast to the East Coast of the United States in a straight direction, where they follow the sun over their right shoulder till they get back to where they started from. Let's see that. It's not going to happen because you communists have taken over the damn world, and we've got a bunch of people that want to censor all of us for asking questions and wondering what's going on here, and you guys are just communists. Just take your jab and shut the hell up.
Well, nobody's stopping you from doing that. You could easily do that yourself. So if you wanted to do that experiment, why don't you drive across the United States?
No, because what we do, I think you kind of miss. It's like a miss. I don't know. What we do is expose the globers and the globe. Okay, we don't have a model. We cannot replace what you've been told about where you live and give you something new. Okay, so we accept that because it's not a globe. Well, what is it then? It has to be flat. And if you're saying, well, it's not flat, water does curve, there is a gravitational force, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, biodual. If you can show space is a real thing, well, then what's the argument? Not ask for flat Earth evidence.
But Kimo,
yes.
you started
well, you
the
made
sentence.
two assumptions there. You made two assumptions.
Hold on, let
First
Daki,
was that it has to replace it automatically. And the second one was that it has to be flat. So you're going off of two presuppositions at that point.
All right, but look, Decodus is trying to get in, and he's been waiting patiently all day.
No, he's right. He's exactly on my point. Don't worry.
What was his point?
Ask her question. His question, please.
Him, not her. What was the question? Yeah.
My question?
Mm-hmm.
How big is your flat Earth?
Oh my! Is this sort of? Did you not just hear Bearded Dragon ask this question? How can anybody
if you don't have an answer, you can say I don't know. That's fine. But if you're saying that our assumptions are wrong, but the measurements are right,
all right.
then how big is the flat Earth?
Saroki, stop. If I give you a number, what will that tell you? What if I just give you any number? What are you going to want to know next?
I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to continue to ask questions about the flat Earth.
So let's say I give you a number.
You know, I can go out and take measurements.
No, but I'm asking you, let's say I give you a number, what's the next question after I give you a number?
Those measurements in reality aren't going to change.
Yeah, but if I give you
information is from a book. It's all from a book. You don't know anything. You absolutely don't know anything other than what you've read.
Saroki, look.
Did anybody teach you to read?
So you don't want to answer that because you know.
I don't have to believe. I don't believe everything I read. Why do you believe?
I don't believe everything I read either.
Yeah, you do. You believe.
What I'm saying is,
through outer space,
can you do math?
600 miles an hour at 66.6 degree tilt. You believe all that shit with no proof?
Nobody's talking about that, David. Shut up.
No, actually, let's go back for a second, because you say you believe everything you read, but that's not true. I read a lot of books. I read for pleasure as well. I also read stuff written in the chat. So,
stick on the topic, please.
I believe in science. I believe in the scientist. I believe what.
Is that you, David? You're projecting. You believe in all of them people? You believe in all of them people, David?
It's just like Joe Biden said, science is back. Take your jab. Well, we know we're going to spray the skies. We're going to shoot you up with vaccines, and you need to believe what we tell you.
You believe all them people? You believe them, David? You believe them, David?
I don't believe jack shit they got
Then
to say.
shut the fuck up. You don't know what people believe or not. You're not inside people. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
They don't even know what
I thought we were talking about measurements. I don't know
We
how we
just
got
let
to
David
Joe Biden.
speak.
They don't even know what air is, man. Thank you.
The open platform. There are many people who want to have a say for good. Okay, so look, the measurements. I could give you any number. Any number. You would say to me, how do you know? Did you measure it? Blah, blah, blah. Same thing we're asking.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So the same thing we're asking you about the measurements. Okay, who's done it? When did they do it? How did they do it? What was the method? And what we can show is that their method is questionable because they're using the atmosphere and the optics to get information. Because they think after the horizon, the Earth is dropping away, and you're calculating from that. Whereas if you just made a straight measurement, wouldn't be in this mess in the first place.
Oh God, you're repeating
So
bad.
you're saying that surveying, something that's been done for hundreds of years, is wrong.
No, it's not that it's wrong. It was all part of the deception. So they needed to have these things in place for you guys to study, to learn, to review and revise, and to parrot, which you're doing right now. So now you're trying to figure out...
Citation about the deception.
What?
So it's not wrong?
Citation about the deception that you claimed.
It doesn't exist.
So I'm struggling here because you said two things. You said that it was set in place and that it was part of the deception.
Yes.
But then you're saying that the measurements aren't wrong. So how can that be part of the deception if the measurements aren't wrong?
Well, let's think about it, right? Again, let's try and open your mind a little bit. So 500 years ago, when they said, right, Earth is a ball, we need to figure out a model. Then they came up with a circumference, a radius, and all that kind of stuff. Then they said the sun is 1,000,000 miles away. Now, was he wrong? Was he lying? No. All they were trying to do is figure out a model, a heliocentric model. The sun went from 1,000,000 miles to 10 million miles to 50 million miles, now to today, which is 93 million miles. Now, again, were they all wrong? Were they lying? No. They were trying to build a model that supports their idea. And they finally had one.
Yeah, that's why back in the day there were so many discrepancies and misunderstanding. But today, the future is now, Kimo. We got so much tools and technology that we are able to do very, very concise measurements and very accurate today.
No, today you're able to make the hoax more elaborate. So you have more technology to deceive the sheep that are sleeping and are easily fooled because of the tools that the massive have, not the masses, the elite have today, like television, HD, 4K, all that kind of stuff. They can cause a great...
Can you believe something, Kimo, that if I want to open a hole in my wall, I don't have to find a 2x4 so I know there's a hard spot. I don't have to open the hole. I don't have to rip the whole wall out. I can buy a little tool that's going to go beep, 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 beep. You got a hard 2x4 in here. You can drill in there. How is that amazing, man? Shout out to technology, Kimo.
Yeah, technology is good.
You still want to rip the wall down, right? Even though you have that tool. Right?
You're talking about going through inches of wall, and on the other hand, you're comparing it to going through miles, thousands of miles of rock and God knows what.
Right.
Mate.
See, but we have things that we've used over time and information that we found over time. Ground penetrating radar has only been on the market for possibly the last 15, 20 years. And and that actually works and works pretty well depending on soil conditions. You can use a a portable one, or they have larger ones to designate things in the earth.
Sounds
So
mesmerizing. Sounds mesmerizing.
we use technology. You know, technology over time has gotten better and better and better.
Yeah, you're just trying to
taking measurements.
You're just trying to woo me with like, ooh, look what we can do in this.
I was almost finished, Emo. I was almost finished.
Sorry.
Give me 1 second.
Sorry.
So we refine things over time using science and our better understanding of the information that we gain to take better measurements. So yes, things have changed over time to a better degree, and that's all it is.
But it's
not making up a whole new number. It's refining that number.
Saroki, let's say in reality the sun was 93 million miles away, and the guy measured 1 million miles away. That's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, but he was taking that measurement with a stick.
Yeah, the same thing that you're doing today. It's a pretty big deal, big animal, right?
No, we use other things today, you know, such as satellites that are up there to take measurements. We've put reflectors on the moon to take better measurements.
No, but you know
stuff
why...
like that completely changes how you view something, and also when we talk about the measurements that were taken back then, most of the times they weren't even using optics that were even close to what we've come up with today.
What, telescopes?
Telescopes, satellite telescopes, all of that.
Have satellite. Show me a satellite telescope.
So you can look up the Hubble.
See,
I'm
why are you
driving right
lying?
now,
Why would you lie?
You're more than welcome to look it up.
Lie? Why would you lie to me? What have I done to you? Show me a satellite telescope. Let's have a look. Or
why would I lie? Are you calling me a liar, Chemo? I haven't lied to you once.
Okay, so
not once.
I asked you a question. Why would you lie? It's only a question. You're saying you're not lying. So provide the satellite telescope right now. Let's have a look. Not a CGI one, a real one.
I told you I'm driving. Didn't I say that? But did you skip
over that part?
Tell me
what to Google. Tell me what to Google. I'll Google it now. Real.
I just told you you can look up the Hubble telescope.
Hubble telescope. Okay, so it's going to show me a real.
Yep.
I want to see it live.
Now hold on. On the Hubble telescope, the lenses for that were built in Corning, New York. All right.
Okay, so I've typed in Hubble telescope. Now what? Which link do I click on?
Which link? Whichever one you want to go to. I don't know.
Any link.
I'm not looking at your computer. I'm not looking at your computer.
Yes, but you said you know where there's a satellite in space with a telescope. You're going to direct me. I'm listening. So I've typed in Hubble telescope and I've got Hubble space.
Okay.
Go on.
You found Hubble?
Mm-hmm.
And did you look it up?
So go on the first link. Click the first link, yeah? Click the first link.
What's on the first link?
So we've got... What do we have? We've got Hubble telescope. It's got like Earth. Got latest news. Scroll down. We've got images, video. Click on video. Click on videos. I don't see the telescope. I just see CGI sky at the moment.
How many miles away is the Hubble telescope now? Probably like 96 million miles away.
Hold on a second, David. Sorry, because he's saying there's a Hubble telescope. But all I see in this website here is CGI images. That's someone's artist impression. Oh. Okay, where do I go then? So what do I click?
Oh, is that what you're seeing? Or
what do I click then? Where do I click? What do I click?
How do you know they're CGI?
Because you cannot have gas next to a vacuum, duh.
No, mate, how are you gonna...
why not?
No, mate, 1 second.
Hold on, why not?
Why not? Now, I'm looking at this massive giant ball of gas that is blue.
Hold on, no, Chemo,
this
Chemo,
massive
you just said
giant ball of
something. You
gas
made
that
a
is
claim
red.
there. Again,
What?
You made a second claim there.
What?
You can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum.
Yes.
Why not?
Because it's high pressure. It's the second law of thermodynamics. So there's the dynamics with thermo. So you got high temperature, low temperature, or high pressure, low pressure next to one another without a membrane to prevent one another spreading and filling the space. Now, what I'm looking at here with this image is a
the high
second
pressure
law.
is leading into the low pressure on the Earth. I think I explained this to you last year.
No, I'll take a picture for you.
That the Earth continually puts out its atmosphere.
I'll take a picture
continually
of what I'm
going out.
looking at.
So that doesn't violate the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah. All right. Show me then gas
So
pressure.
we can eliminate that at this point, right?
No, because I'll show you the picture that I'm looking at right now.
No, why not?
I'm going to show you the picture that I'm looking at right now. So this ball of gas.
Wait, I want to hear how you. I want to hear.
I'm
how
showing you
it's
right
not
now that
doing
this ball of gas, this red ball of gas, is either CGI or like an artist's impression, like a drawing. But this gas cannot be in this area next to the no gas because it will fill the space. Understand?
It's not a no gas. It's a very low pressure, right?
How much pressure?
Get out of here.
I know.
Nobody made that claim that there was zero pressure.
We're not
right?
saying zero pressure.
Go on, percent.
Somebody
Take it over.
Chemo's trying to say that.
No.
But I've already explained to him that
Bring everybody in.
about the atmosphere.
There would be like it would evaporate. Sorry, it would evacuate.
Yes.
If it was 1 times 10 to the negative 17
no,
torr, as you
there's
guys
no
claim.
evacuation for something.
There's
no evacuation
whoa,
for something that
Soroki,
is
stop,
continually pumping out air.
Soroki,
If it was 1 times
Soroki,
10
whoa,
to the negative
Soroki, can you hear anybody? Do you hear anybody?
I can hear all three of you.
All right, well, just calm down a little bit. You know what Kosho's like. He's going to be in here any minute with all that come on, stop it stuff. So just try and hear percent a little bit and listen to what's being
Soroki,
said.
don't overstate the amount of pressure there is.
You know what this reminds
I'm not
me of?
overstating anything. I'm not overstating anything.
It's like somebody that watches cartoons. There's no real people on TV, right? There's no real people. It's all animated people on TV, and you think you're one of them because you saw it on TV and they look real. That you think that you're an animated cartoon. It's kind of like you sit there and you see animated cartoons and you think they're real. There's something terribly wrong here.
I'm on TV every day when I do my show. People watch me on TV. Some people. It's weird, but I'm on TV. Am I real? Yes.
Think about it.
All right, David, sorry. No, we've got to get back to this. This guy said Hubble telescope, and what we're looking at here, Soroki, is CGI. Now, how do you explain the gases like this in a vacuum? Can that be demonstrated? Can that be replicated?
So again, how do you know that it's CGI?
How do you even know they're gases?
How do you know they're not?
That's what you tell us. The gases in space.
You're attempting to. So we know that we have an atmosphere.
Wait,
as a planet,
I think
we
you
have
knew how dumb that
Hold on.
sounded as you were saying it, because you kind of like, you were reluctant to say it. There was some hesitancy.
No, you're asking me questions about.
I'm asking you about
what
your
I
positive
know,
claim.
and I've explained it to you numerous times about our atmosphere. This
How
is
do you
the
know
third
those are
time that
gases?
I've explained that our atmosphere continues on out outside of the Earth, outside of the Kármán line and all that stuff. That's the third time I've explained that to you. Now,
what are you even talking about?
do you understand it at this point, or are you going to
talking to
deny
me?
that it happened?
I know. What's he even on about? What are you on about, Soroki?
So far, both of you have.
I think he's
said
confusing me
that
with
can't
you,
have that.
Chemo, or something like that. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Soroki, can you make sense? We're talking about the satellite telescope, the gases that it's taking a picture of. How can that be real if it's a vacuum? The gases.
What's up, Chemo?
Again, what is the vacuum? What's the problem with the vacuum?
Well, it's empty space, isn't it?
Wow, that was great.
It's what?
It's empty. When no
Empty
sound,
space,
there's
yeah.
no sound in space. Why? Because there's nothing for it to propagate through. You understand? Now, if there's
very
gas,
little for it to
if there's gas,
propagate off of,
Soroki,
yes.
if there's gas, sound could propagate through that gas.
But what
Right.
if it's only in one?
So if you have an atmosphere, or if you have a ball of gas, wouldn't you have sound inside of that atmosphere or ball of gas? Kind of like we do on the
Don't
Earth.
forget to go at the end, Saruki.
How'd you get that gas in the first place in this infinite, almost infinite vacuum of 1 times 10 to the negative 17 torr?
Nephilim
Well,
gas.
our gas is created by, living beings, and the Earth itself expels gas as well. And I'm pretty sure that most other planets and also stars and stuff like that also produce gases.
Yeah, okay, but how did the gas even have a chance to form in this vacuum? How did it put entropy on hold, put these physical laws of the universe on hold to amass enough gravitational pull?
Wait, what's in entropy, though? What's in entropy?
What do you mean, what's in entropy?
No, what in the universe is in entropy at this point? Because you're saying that that the gas, how is it going to propagate? But
I'm saying how did the gas even form?
There,
bro, the gas would expand in this vacuum, right?
Right.
So
how did it even form into a ball and stave off this expansion into the vacuum, this evacuation into the vacuum?
So it has mass, right?
No, it didn't at the time.
Right.
What do you mean it didn't have
mass
at the time?
There's a very small amount of gas.
How did it nowhere?
How did it have a gravitational pull if it hadn't even amassed and formed this giant gas cloud?
How can it coalesce in the vacuum, Severity? How is that possible? How can it pull together in the vacuum? What's pulling it together? Yeah, mass. You're saying mass attracts mass, fine. But how can it pull in the vacuum?
How can it what in the vacuum? I'm sorry.
What else is it going to do?
How can the mass
you have a vacuum,
attract mass in the vacuum? Have we ever seen mass attracting mass in the vacuum?
To go.
Severity.
Where is it supposed to go?
Severity, have you ever
It's
seen
supposed
mass?
to equalize, as all gas does in vacuum chambers. It equalizes.
But what happens if the chamber is too big for the gas? The gas, a little bit of gas, and the chamber's huge.
It will fill the
then
space.
it equalizes as best it can.
It will
and
fill
the
the space.
pressure will be super low.
It goes back together in the ball.
Cody, it will fill
No.
the space.
Stay together.
No, it won't stay
But
together.
it's mass, right?
Wouldn't
It's
see
mass,
the
right?
colours like that. You would just spread
Gas
out
is
everywhere.
still mass.
I know,
Gas
said
is
carry
still
on,
mass.
sorry.
So gas
First
is
off,
still
mass is a
So it's
conception.
still going
Okay,
to be
it's matter. Matter is the word you're looking for. Gas has matter, fine, but it's in this
Right.
huge expanse, this of nothingness. It's gonna expand. It's gonna evacuate into it. It's gonna try to equalize it. That's what gas does in vacuums. So how did it
And where
form
does it
into
go?
a ball and not equalize?
And where does it go?
Jeez Louise, I'm done, man.
No, give it because remember they're
'cause
children.
the way you're
you've got to
asking
be
it.
patient with these
No,
guys.
hold on, Chemo.
Soroki's usually
The way
smarter
you're
than this.
asking it-
I don't get it.
Okay, so the way you're saying this is that there's gas there. There's this mass of gas that is there,
No, I'm asking
Right?
how that even formed in the first place.
and how it was formed in the first place. I don't know. I told you how.
Well, it
gas
breaks your entire
done-
model.
Hold on. I
Don't
told you
know.
how gas was formed on the Earth and on other planets, plus with the sun and the sun and stars. Right? That I explained that to you.
So you're just gonna
Right?
jump in logic and say they've magically been
So
formed,
you're not.
and
You're
now
not gonna. You're
our
not
system
gonna
applies.
agree with me that
Nobody
I did
needs to
explain
know
that
about
to
the
you, did you?
beginning. Nobody needs to know about that.
Of course we do.
I explained.
I mean, you
explained to
do.
you
In order
where
for
it
you
came
not to
from.
ever progress
No,
in the
because
discussion, you need to know that in order for you to stay stuck.
No, listen, because you guys make little claims about the physical law of our universe, and yet they wouldn't apply to the formation of said universe.
Why are you making it so complicated? We're talking about
It's not,
Earth,
I'm
bro,
not making
and the
I'm
surroundings.
applying your rules to what you guys say, and it doesn't.
No,
jive.
you're trying to make it very complicated so you can get stuck in the discussion and never go forward.
No, I'm not. Actually.
Well, he won't agree with me.
You guys
he won't
basically
agree with me
believe
that I
that
even
Jose,
explained
you're
where
spiraling
the
now.
gas came from on Earth.
Because we've got you in a
but only
corner,
after
Jose.
this miracle of having these planets freshly made.
And you
Doesn't
would
make
love to talk about this philosophy and this, how everything was made for years and years to come, so you can never learn the truth.
Jose, we're not talking about the
That's
gases.
freshly
We're talking
made.
about how did they coalesce like this. Not where did the gases come from. How do they do this in a vacuum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's percentage point. Where did the gases come from?
No.
So bring it down, Kimo. Bring it down to reality.
Who knows? We don't know. We don't know exactly what happened. You guys think
Very
that
simple
Magic
thing.
Man
You've
did
got
it. I
We
don't know.
definitely know that the planets couldn't form with your guys' conception of the gravitational pull being required. They couldn't have even formed in the first place. So it's a non-starter.
Why not?
The main point.
Because of entropy. Would there be no way for the Earth, let alone these gas planets and giants or whatever, and stars to even form?
Do you understand that entropy?
You're right.
Entropy can be like the second law of thermodynamics, whatever you guys think is the cause for why entropy happens, that is undone, or it's it's counteracted when force is involved. When you have any kind of force, that's what a
But if the
container
force
does.
depends on mass and hasn't had a chance to actually amass, then there would be no force.
No, wait. This is what happens. All you need
In
is
the
one
bigger,
particle.
in the
Wait.
bigger, hold on. In the bigger
Wait a
picture
second,
that
man.
these are cartoon images. These are cartoon images that you believe are real. This is
Dave,
the whole
shut the fuck
point.
up.
You believe in cartoon
Dave.
images.
David, hold on. You're interrupting the conversation for a second.
All you
No,
need
he's
is one
not.
particle.
He's allowed to give his
Can I
point.
say this real quick? Can I say this real quick?
That is the point.
Right, why is
All
not
you
everyone
need is
patient
one
enough to hear
particle.
everyone's point?
Hey, Kimo.
Go ahead, Tony.
As we proceed, Kosho, what were you saying about the gases?
Fucking idiots.
Tony's saying something. Go ahead, Tony.
All you need is one particle or atom or whatever to be bigger.
Yeah? What does that mean?
It'll cause gravity. Like this, that bigger atom will start attracting all the smaller atoms. All you
Yeah,
need
that's
is one
the
atom
theory,
that's bigger.
Tony. We know about the theory. We're talking
Great,
about
what's your
reality
theory?
now, yeah? We're talking about these pictures that have really been taken in a real vacuum.
What's your theory?
Real gases that
Yeah,
are...
that doesn't happen in real life, Tony.
Exactly.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Look
does.
at our
It
atmosphere.
happens right there in the picture.
Well, the
If you
very
look
smallest.
Look at it right now.
If you look really tight,
Can no one hear
there
Doofus?
says Hoover at
Whoa,
the
whoa,
bottom.
whoa. Can no one hear Doofus trying to speak? Just over
It
talking.
says Dyson.
So what about outside, Doofus? What about outside?
There's a vacuum up there.
That's what we're told, yeah, we understand that, okay.
It's not just what we've been told, it's what you can measure with a barometer.
But who's been up into that vacuum and measured no pressure?
No, your vacuum isn't no pressure. No one says there's no pressure somewhere.
Who's measured the low pressure up there, Doofus?
Any weather balloon.
Anyone what?
Jesus.
Any weather balloon. All of them.
I've measured the...
Ah, bro, Doofus, your mic's
Have
really
you never
bad.
Mike's a
seen?
bit bad,
Have
Doofus,
you
to
never
be
seen
honest.
any of Dwayne Kellum's videos?
Wayne Callum. Yeah, okay, what about it?
Dwayne
You've
Killum.
never seen any of them?
Okay, yeah, what about it?
You've never seen all the data that he has with all his balloon launches?
Yeah, that was reviewed some years ago when we found that the actual data didn't match what was on the screen. Me and Ranty went over that. Old news.
Really?
Yes.
How did you confirm that the data? How
It was
did you
done on
confirm that
Nathan's
the
show. We
data that
pulled
was
up
on
the
the screen
data on the paper and then we compared
didn't
it to on
match
the
what was
screen
actually going on?
and it didn't compare.
I would like to see a reenactment of that, please.
Well, you have to look through one of Nathan's
Play some
old
good
shows.
music behind it, like some Eagles or something.
So you guys sent them a balloon along with them, and you
No.
took the data and it didn't match?
No. They had the sheet, the data sheet, and what was on the number on the screen didn't match the data sheet.
What data sheet?
That came with
What data sheet?
what he printed out. What was on the computers.
Yeah, but what data sheet? Where did it come from?
From the source.
Where was the data? Where did the data come from?
So it came from
So-
Dwayne Callum's site or something to that effect. And it's on the show anyway, so you can just scroll through one of Nathan's shows if you're that desperate to find it. It's all there. That's why it never gained traction. It was an error.
So Dwayne Kellum has a website where you can download this data?
I'm not too sure. But there was a data sheet that we went through, and they didn't match what was on the screen.
Now they're
Flat Earthers buried it. Flat Earthers buried that information because it doesn't conform with what they're part of that.
No, see, Jose, what had happened was after you read this special data, it just disappears for the next flat earther to coalesce it back together, and then they can read it. It's kind of like The Ring. Remember that movie, The Ring? It's kind of like that, but you get knowledge.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, that's not.
They cannot let this information spread out to other flat earthers because
That's not either there or there, because if
they
you're
will
saying,
question, then they go like, "Whoa,
if you're
makes
saying-
sense now,"
if you're
but
saying
it
that the
cannot
gas-
make sense to the rest of them.
if you're saying there's a gradient and it gets thinner and thinner, and then you have this big giant ball of gas above this thin layer of gases. How does that work? How does the gases, you get thinner and thinner and thinner, then no gas, and then a big giant ball of gas?
Because there's a tiny bit of gas in a huge vastness of nothing. How far do you think it's going to spread out?
As much as it can to get as close to perfect thermodynamic equilibrium as possible.
And then when that happens, the biggest fucking atom is going to start attracting the ones next to it, and back then they're all going to group together.
No, they're going to stay equal. Like it's going to stay in equilibrium.
Because it shows that, right?
The second law of thermodynamics.
Which is modified by a force.
At what point,
unless acted upon by another force,
the second law of thermodynamics, like when did it come into effect? Was it after all of these planets and stuff were formed? It was just the physical laws of the universe weren't being applied, and then suddenly they started being applied.
Listen, because I got interrupted last time. Those laws are in effect, regardless. I mean, the laws are in effect even when forces are on or outdoing them or counteracting them. I mean, so it's like if you have a container, that's one example of electromagnetism counteracting the force of that, of things trying to be in disorder or whatever, or for the second law for entropy to increase because there's something keeping the gases in there. Same thing if you have any other kind of force, any kind of force at all. If you apply it, that's actually something interacting with the system. It's just the system by itself is going to be subject to the second law of thermodynamics. But if you're interacting with it, or you're changing the system or applying a force, it's obviously gonna undo that or counteract that.
But it's always going to try to reach its maximum thermodynamic equilibrium. So you can't explain how you could have these planets forming, flying in the face of that. It doesn't make sense.
There's forces. Same with electromagnetism.
Again, how does this force, this gravitational pull, overcome the vacuum, the infinite vacuum that's around it?
It's not an infinite vacuum.
Almost infinite vacuum.
Wait. What the fuck is it about a vacuum that needs to be overcome?
Because it's going to evacuate. It's basically fighting off the second law of thermodynamics.
Vacuums don't suck.
You need to shove that up your ass. I'm sick of hearing
the
this
vacuum
shit.
is applying.
Yeah,
He
just
thinks
throw
the
science
vacuum is
out the
applying
window,
force.
Curve. Yeah?
So
how's this no gravity beating entropy?
It's zero. The vacuum is zero. It's equal. Therefore, any kind of force is going to be stronger than zero.
Tony, there's something wrong with you. The gas will fill the space.
What if there's not enough gas to fill the space?
What do you mean fill?
Space is fucking
Unless
Then it
there's
fills
another
it as
force
much as it
acting on
can.
it.
It's called the maximum value of thermodynamic equilibrium.
Well, why aren't we getting
Another
this
force
thermodynamic
is acting on it,
equilibrium
right?
within your fucking dome that you
Is
say
there a
must be
number?
there to contain the gas?
No, I didn't say there's a
that we
dome.
have.
No one's
See,
saying
you
that.
guys,
talking
you're not
about
interested
We're
in
talking
any
about
of
the
this
universe.
conversation. It's
You don't
boring
need a
as
dome.
fuck. Got a bunch of stupid fucking retards, especially you, Poe. You just want to fucking talk.
Philip, are you saying that
whenever
the
you wanna
universe is
talk.
not an isolated
It's
system?
yours. It's yours to talk.
Kurt,
You don't
are
give
you
a fuck
saying that
who's
the
talking.
universe is
You
not an
won't
isolated
yield.
system?
You overtalk fucking everybody, and I'm having enough of it.
All right, great. Are you
Knock
saying
it off,
that the
McConaughey.
universe
Curve,
is not
what
an
is your
isolated
point?
Share
system?
the fucking
You're saying
microphone with
the
people in here.
firmament, the
Curve.
dome has to be
Dickhead, you're
there.
gonna share the mic.
Hold on.
You got it?
Hold
Yo,
on.
you
Get
gotta
that
shut
part
up.
through your
You're
head.
not
Curve,
anything.
what is your point you're making?
Curve, man, how you doing?
He's not making any point. He's just talking to
Asking
obstruct.
interrupting percentage. That's what he's asking.
What is the point Curved is making? Why have we stopped this to talk about what?
Just said it again. He's asking him to stop interrupting.
He's strawman saying that we need like a dome. When
Right, no one said dome.
the universe is
No,
an
I
isolated
didn't.
system.
You lying
So
cunt.
the
I
second
didn't
law of
say that.
thermodynamics would apply to the entirety of the universe.
I never said you need a dome.
So why'd you bring it up?
Why you bring up a dome?
I said that dome that you all claim is
I've never
there.
claimed it.
No,
Why'd
you
you bring it
claimed
up?
the dome.
Isn't it filling
Who
the
claimed the
ability?
dome?
It's
No one
irrelevant
cares
to this
containing
conversation.
it.
Why'd you bring it up?
It's not
What's
filling.
your argument then?
It's not filling.
Strawman.
We got a gradient, a huge fucking gradient, before we ever hit any fucking dome. Your argument's
Okay,
bullshit.
It's a straw man. No one mentioned a dome. There's no reason
Red
for you to bring it
herring,
up.
that is.
The second law of thermodynamics applies to the
Don't tell
universe.
me
which
no
is an
one
isolated
mentioned a
system.
dome.
Get wrecked, son.
We've never
Lying
seen a dome.
fucking
I've told you
bitch.
there's no domes. Why do you keep
I'll
bringing
wreck
up
you,
domes?
son.
Wait,
Step
how
to my
can you guys
fucking
say there's
face,
no
bitch.
dome?
Dude, you can't even stand.
Hey, how can you say there's no
Chemo.
dome when you just said there's a vacuum? So it's either a vacuum or there's
We're
a
asking
dome.
you about your model, your vacuum. How does that
Man, that's
work
all you
with
guys.
gases
Hey,
inside
hey,
it?
chemo. That's all
And
you've
that's
done
why
for
the
the past 5 years,
aggressivity.
and it's got you nowhere.
Yeah. Because flat earthers were being asked about their model, and that's why they are so aggressive. Because Sean Smith was putting their feet to the fire, Chemo start whining, and now they flip all that burden now, and now it's all about the globe, right, Chemo? Nothing about the flat earth. Don't you dare asking me about flat earth.
Okay, well,
There is
percentage
no
was brought
flat
up the fact that there's no dome, and so, but he's sitting there saying that the second law of thermodynamics says that the.
I didn't say there's no
Yes.
dome.
Yeah, well,
That's
then,
another straw man.
then, okay, well then, what is
You're saying there's no
your
dome.
opinion? Why are there gases down here? Why is there pressure? What's your
Because
argument?
the universe is an isolated system. So if there's vacuum, then the gas that's inside would equalize in it. You wouldn't have, unless there was a different variable that we haven't accounted for, you wouldn't have an opportunity for gravity to even amass, to have gravitational pull to form these planets.
Since that's not what's happening, since the pressure is not equalized, what's happening in your description of what's going on?
What do you mean?
The atmosphere has pressure gradient from high to low. So how's this happening?
I don't know.
Okay, well then why
I
are you
don't know what the
arguing with
cause
our
is.
explanation?
I'm just saying it's not gravity as according to your model because it wouldn't even have a chance to amass.
Air pressure is proportional to the
Now, if
mass
there's
of the air
something
above it,
else,
though.
a different
So
variable
you might
that
want to think about that.
that staved off entropy to give these like particles or molecules of matter chances to come together and amass, then that would explain it. But you guys don't claim that. You guys say that gravity in and of itself in this vacuum amassed against entropy.
Hold on, wait, let's get Doofus in. Whoa. Calm down, let's get Doofus in. Doofus, you've been trying to say something.
Yeah, air pressure is proportional to the weight of the air above it, so you might want to think about that.
That doesn't help.
Weight is a force.
Okay, but that doesn't apply. It doesn't have any relevance to what we're talking about. We're talking about the matter amassing in the first place.
Then that's
so how are you going to have air pressure from atmosphere from a body of mass body of matter if it hasn't even amassed in the first place? It doesn't make sense.
What does it have to counteract?
Dude, are you serious?
Vacuums don't suck.
How did this thing form in the first place? That's what we're talking about. You're not making sense.
Vacuums don't have an outward pressure. They don't have an outward force. They don't suck.
I didn't say they did.
Kosher, let Doofus finish his back and forth, for goodness sake.
Cut it out. Brad tells me to Doofus. Shut the fuck up. Doofus, you gotta back away from your mic a little bit. It's very loud.
Yeah, but let him finish his point with percent. Jeez.
He made his point. It's a bad straw man. He's trying to say that I said the vacuum is sucking up stuff, when that's not how the second law of thermodynamics works. But okay.
That's what you guys
So when
believe,
gravity is a
That's what you guys
force,
believe, though.
what force is it having to counteract?
The dickhead said it'd have to overcome the vacuum.
It'd have to overcome entropy. Yes.
You did say that.
This strive that it has to equalize, to find its maximum thermodynamic equilibrium. Or are you guys saying that thermodynamics doesn't work now either?
Then it would have to expand forever. Does it have enough energy to expand forever?
Is the universe forever?
No one knows.
So if the sun or a star that is already a mass that is in this vacuum is creating gases, where's that gas going to go?
It's going to continuously equalize in this vacuum.
Why? But you can't do that.
Why would it?
That's the second law of thermodynamics, bro.
It doesn't say
you missed the first part.
It tries to eliminate
which was
inhomogeneities in everything.
Hey, you cannot
a mass
the second
is producing the gas.
Tony, you need to stop doing that.
Now a mass is producing the gas, right? Matter is producing this gas.
The fucking gradient is contradicting his claim.
Where is that gas going?
The gradient disproves his assertion.
I'm not making any assertions aside from that your guys' model is not coherent. It doesn't have internal validity.
All right, we've got a question. Hold on, we've got a question on the table. Tony, okay, Tony,
Hey,
now ask your question.
Stop interrupting the conversation.
You can't take out.
Posho, stop interrupting it.
You
Tony,
can't cite the second law of thermodynamics if you take out the main part of it, the force. You always take that out. That's in that law.
Bro, I am again
take that out
doing
and
an
then say that
internal
we claim it.
critique of your guys' model, and it does not stand to reason. Okay, you would not have a chance for these masses to amass if there was a vacuum all around and it was entropy. All right.
Percentage. Have you seen that
So
new
unless you
paper?
somehow stop the
Kosho,
second
can you
law
let
of
people finish
thermodynamics
their
from working,
point?
or
Kimo, I
overcame
swear
it
to
with
God,
another
stop
variable
that.
that you haven't mentioned,
Well,
it doesn't apply.
McGunnage has free reign to interrupt anybody he wants, Chemo. What's your
He's
problem?
answering Tony. Tony asked
Are
a
you one way,
question.
I was
Chemo?
finishing my point, and then Kosh will start talking.
I know.
Are you one way, Chemo?
Well, Tony asked
Chemo,
a
are you
question.
one way?
Tony asked a
Are
question.
you one way? Is this
Tony asked a
McGunnage show?
Tony asked a
Is
question.
this a McGunnage show, Chemo?
Tony asked a
See,
question.
is that what you want?
Are you going to allow
Yo,
Tony
Curved,
his
I know you don't
answer?
like me, but you don't have to make it so obvious.
Are you going to allow Tony his
My heart
answer,
goes.
Curved? He wants
Are
an
you going to
answer
stop
from percent.
interrupting people, Chemo?
He wants an answer from percent.
I want a goddamn answer.
What's the
Let
question?
people talk, thing,
The
Chemo.
Curve.
Why do you
Stop
take out
interrupting Kosho.
And
Let him make
stop,
his point
stop
to
McGunnage
Tony.
from stopping people from talking.
Hey, Curve can talk.
I'm
Can
unstoppable,
interrupt me
man.
whenever he wants.
Okay,
Bitch.
Tony.
You're out of control, Chemo.
Tony, ask your question to percent so we can get back on track.
I just want to know why percentage is going to cite the second law of thermodynamics, but take out the main thing, the force, and then say
I'm
that
not.
that we don't have entropy. Yes,
I'm saying if entropy existed, then any
you don't know what the force.
any
You don't know what's
molecules
doing
of gas or anything of matter would be trying to equalize. It would be trying to find like its equilibrium. It's a thermodynamic equilibrium, right? So it wouldn't have an opportunity that these masses wouldn't have an opportunity to amass and have gravitational pull and have that force that you're speaking of. Okay. Now, if there was another variable that hasn't been mentioned or that you guys haven't accounted for within your model that's
biting at the
causing
bit.
this entropy to be,
Grim.
overcome, then it would work. But you guys haven't said that.
Happy,
Yes, I
Tony?
did.
Tony, are you happy with that answer?
No.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
chomping
happy
at
with
the
it
bit
because
to
you
say it.
gave an answer. I don't like it though, but
Grim.
we do have the cause. The very first freaking atom that was bigger
Yes,
than
sir.
the one next to it. That's the cause. And then
No, but again, that's not how
it
it's-
kept going. That's gravity.
That's not how the second law of thermodynamics work. Even if it's uneven,
I don't
it'll still
care.
strive to find its maximum value of equilibrium.
Which we can observe does not happen.
That's not the law. That's not how it happens. And the
Are you kidding me,
paper,
Kosher?
the
You
paper
could read it
that
yourself.
say again.
You could read it yourself. That's exactly
No,
what the law says.
that's not how it happens at all. But the paper that they did like a month ago with the smallest mass that they've observed that had gravitational attraction with the Cavendish, it was like I don't know how much it weighed, but it was like 2 millimeters big or whatever. So an object, I mean, at this point, is proven only has to be that big before it can start gravitational attracting. And things smaller than that are attracted with electrostatic forces. So this is not all that stuff will outdo entropy. If those forces are available, then they will counteract entropy. This is known.
Yes.
Yeah,
Especially
electromagnetism,
when
right?
is at zero.
And since someone clapped their hands for Kosho because he brought electromagnetism into the party.
I was going to say, is it electricity?
And I was alluding to that too, so I'm glad he picked up on it. This
Yeah.
variable that you'd have to introduce, it would have to stave off. It would be strong enough to stave off this effect of entropy and allow these masses to mass.
Electricity.
Gravity wouldn't work with like that
Gravity.
because
Not
gravity
gravity.
is dependent on those masses, but electromagnetism might not be.
No, it's dependent on the one mass. It just the one mass attracting the next one. That's all. You're making it sound like they all have to come in together at the same time.
No, again, it would have to overcome entropy. It would have to
Even if
overcome
you introduce-
equilibrium.
Even if you introduced the electromagnetic attraction, right? You're not disproving anything.
What are you talking about, bro?
Well, there's all these cameras in
Well, of course
space,
he is.
right?
Hey,
I mean,
Mel.
nobody's.
Hang on.
Okay,
So
go
there's
ahead.
all these cameras in space, right?
Well, Mo, hold on
And
a
you
second,
can-
because we
and-
were
and
talking
you-
about the
yeah,
hub.
I'm taking them somewhere,
Okay.
I know, but
and it is relevant.
Bearded Dragon was in the Bearded Devil's in the middle of something.
No, he's
Taking
muted.
us to church.
So there's
Well,
all
I
these
muted you.
cameras. So there's all these cameras in space, right? And we can watch it rotate. How come we can't watch it travel through the universe? Don't the cameras work out there?
That's brilliant, Merle. Absolutely brilliant. I'm glad you're on their side, but
Yeah, that's awesome.
What? So
Right,
no,
it's
no,
things like that, right?
no water ball hurtling through
You
the
had your say,
universe,
Moral.
right?
Thank you for that. That's great input.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
where were we?
Chemo, you want to encourage them to keep
Yeah, let's
disrupting
get
the
back to
conversation and bringing it to a grinding halt
What's
over that stupid ass
I'll take
fucking
us right back
what's
to
nonsense.
where we
your
were.
input?
Good, Chemo.
What's
I
your
got us, Kurt.
input?
Kurt, I got us,
Fuckballs.
brother.
I
So
got
wait a
one
second,
little
Merle,
bit. I
where we
got
were.
one little bit of input, and we'll go back to
So
flat
of
Earth
course,
history.
it doesn't
Come
not
on, dude.
debunk something, but what it does do is
Come
Okay,
change
we're
on,
the
losing
damn it.
paradigm.
control.
We
We are
once
Grim,
believed that gravity
David,
alone
Mel. We are
is
losing
You never
all the
had
heavy lifting.
control.
We are
Yo,
losing
Grim, you're a little
control.
quiet, bro.
Yeah, we once believed that gravity alone did all the heavy lifting, all the pressing gases and everything together. And we just,
Blah,
there's
blah,
a
blah.
paradigm change occurring now where it is known that electromagnetic forces play a much larger role in, the development of our universe.
Yeah, I mean it has to be because gravity alone would not. It fails internal critique.
Yeah,
It can't
where
be
the dark
gravity.
matter halo
No,
is
but we
supposed to
can't
be
argue
around
for
the
that at the
galaxy.
moment, percent,
It turned
because
out that
that's
there's a
not what
plasma
those
halo
guys.
already there. I'm
These
sorry,
guys not
Kimo,
saying
go ahead.
electricity. This is Grimm's. Like now, he's like, yes, great
Maybe
electricity.
you guys don't know
but
what gravity is.
the heliocentric model people don't say electricity is what pulls the gas together and holds it in place. That's just nonsense.
No, they do now. They actually are saying that now. That is part of the brand new model that the standard
Grim,
narrative is
if that's
incorporating,
true,
and still not.
If that's true,
no, it's absolutely true.
well, if it's
being
true,
published in their paper.
can you
Oh, okay, yeah,
demonstrate gas being held together without a container with electricity?
Yes, absolutely. It's called a plasmoid. They do them in laboratory environments all the time, and you can see them. They have their own internal gas pressure, and they're in a vacuum chamber environment, a very low pressure environment.
Without a wall?
Equal to that of space almost.
Without the wall?
I'll go grab a
No,
link
it's in
to
a
a video
vacuum,
that
so
shows
there's
what
no
he's talking
wall around it between it and the vacuum. So
Yeah, but
to
remove
do
the
the
wall,
demonstration,
dude.
to do the demonstration, you have to first replicate the environment of space, and that's what we're doing in the
That's not
demonstration.
space. The space is the
replicating
container, is
environment
it?
of space, and then letting the plasmoid live on its own with a current going through it. So it doesn't live very long without a current continuously going through it. But if it has a current that continuously goes through it, it becomes a living plasmoid, which basically, in other words, it's not going to just dissipate in the vacuum very quickly at all. It can stay in an indefinite amount of time.
Yeah, but
as
you're
long as
still a
this current
globe, Grim. You still
continues to
think the
pass through it.
Earth is a globe, right? So, this idea of electricity, maybe a fact.
The point is that the theory of gravity doesn't hold water. Electromagnetism is a much more viable theory because we know that entropy increases as you remove the variables that are constraining it, right? So if there's no constraint, then it wouldn't have a chance. You wouldn't have a chance for this gravitational pull to amass. You would need a constraint such as electromagnetism or some other thing. Who knows?
Yeah, the beautiful thing about our universe is that both those forces exist. So you can actually have gravity and electromagnetism. And right now we've seen that gravity can pull things together, at least at the scale I described earlier. It could possibly work at a smaller scale than that. But we just know that it doesn't necessarily have to for our concept to make sense because of electrostatic.
Yeah, but does the heliocentric model say that
both those forces exist and both of them outdo or counteract entropy?
Yeah, of course they say it exists, but does the heliocentric model say that these planets formed because of electromagnetism?
They're gonna have to now, aren't
No,
they?
it doesn't.
Well, they're gonna have to.
No,
aren't
it
they?
doesn't say that. Even though they should, they should incorporate it a lot more nowadays. They don't even understand planet formation. It keeps changing in their theories. It just recently changing again. So
let's play a game.
100%, it could not have been gravity alone.
Let's play a game. It's called Pass the Microphone.
All right, you're right, Mel. We have exhausted this point.
Let's play Pass the Salt.
It was a great game, but no, Chemo, we haven't exhausted it.
Well, we kind of have, really.
Nobody claims Nobody claims that it's just gravity. That's what I said. That's a big issue. Nobody's claiming it's just gravity.
We'll get you in, Mel.
So, in the heliocentric model, then it says that the planets formed due to electromagnetism, because I guarantee you it does not say that in conventional heliocentric model rhetoric.
I learned that from a scientist, so.
But hold on a second, percent. Are you saying that these images from Hubble are real and are being held together by electricity? I'm confused.
or at least that the electromagnetism allowed it for the gravity to amass enough for it to be able to fight off the entropy.
Kimo, when's the last time
Percentage?
you've been out on a date?
I'll work with that.
Haven't you forgotten space is fake? Percentage.
Exactly.
No, I think we're sleeping on
doesn't have to
Space
be.
City, man.
I mean, the only way I can understand that these gases or lights can this is in a medium, so they have to be in a particular medium which holds them in their place, and obviously if they dissipate, they would slowly move away. So obviously in a medium, hold them, not a vacuum of space, not electricity.
Right. So
holding
think about the medium as currents of plasma, channels of plasma that link them together like pearls on a string, instead of a medium like they're in an equal homogeneous gel, right? So if you think of the medium as plasma tubules that connect these stars and galaxies and quasars and galaxies together, and it was just noticed that Halton Arp was correct, or at least the mainstream is starting to lean towards him on the quasars ejecting from galaxies, and the blue shifts and stuff were indicative to them being connected together and not so much farther apart and all that kind of stuff. But these are brand new results that it's also being incorporated into the standard model. So tomorrow they'll be able to say, well, nobody says that that's not a part of this, you know what I mean? But yesterday it was not a part of the standard model. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing we're going through right now. So, I mean, you guys kind of give credit where credit's due.
Grim, what's the framework in?
As far as,
well, you said that it was basically like a framework of these interconnected plasma streams. What's that in?
well, you see the cosmic web is a larger version of it, and it's in
same difference.
Yeah, and yeah, it's probably like it's in a near low pressure environment, with those being the higher pressure areas, which you would call them magnetic entities, which are called basically plasmoids. Like plasmoid is a very arbitrary term. It's just a magnetic entity in a plasma, that holds its own form and shape and internal gas pressure. So it can be
I'm referring to
concentric cylinders, Markov currents, all kinds of different expressions of it. But there's a lot of, of that out there, right? They're seeing all of that kind of stuff, and they're not ever seeing any of this areas that are empty or void of magnetism or electricity. So they used to imagine that it was void of electricity over vast distances, that these things couldn't be connected over these galactic years and shit. But now they're seeing that they're absolutely connected over light years, and that there's you have to incorporate that into the math. If the math was working all perfectly and you had 25% dark energy and we have 75% dark, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of ridiculous.
Showing numbers.
Dark matter. Right. It's just because they couldn't see the actual matter that already does exist and is there. Like they just know, a few years back, they saw the halo ring around the galaxy, and that's where the dark matter was supposed to be. But the halo ring are baryons of normal matter, derp, and that's the plasma. Not to mention that they can't even really see the crystals, the gas, and and all the little dust crystals and stuff that are out there. That also carry a charge and behave in a certain way. So we have to pay really much closer attention to the new data that's coming out, and you know what I mean? Because it's not, it isn't all cut and dry like we thought it was. They're starting to realize these distance conundrums that they have and stuff because of red shifts and everything have something more to do with the current, what is it, the life of the current or whatever of the plasma. If the earlier of the charge, or a later more burnt out charge, or equalized charge, these things flowing in different directions seem to redshift light in what we call these relativistic crazy speeds. We think is space expansion, and so it's switching and flipping on everybody right now. But That's the fun of paying attention to it all. Go ahead.
And all that, and you still didn't answer my question.
Sir, if you can't decipher an answer from that, I don't know what to say to you. Anyways, I like that word conundrum. It's great.
Yeah.
And quandary, too.
What was the question again?
The filaments, the web work that you were describing, what is that in?
Oh, I did tell you. I said it was
No,
in
you just
space,
said a
very
low
low pressure
pressure
environment.
Yeah. What is that
Yeah.
made of?
It doesn't have to be made of anything.
You just said it needed to be a medium.
I didn't.
Yes.
No, I didn't. The medium.
So it's not
would
a
be the
medium.
collimated tubule structures that the stars are in, the center of. They're these collimated tubule structures. You've seen the cosmic web images from the mainstream model. This is a necessity. This is a structure of the electric and plasma universe. It's a necessity for that because everything needs to be connected via these Birkeland currents, these channels of
Yeah,
plasma.
I get that. I got
so
the
what isn't?
plasma.
What doesn't look like the electric universe?
Plasma is a physical substance, right?
Of course.
Okay. So this is just matter, ionized matter.
Correct.
Okay. What is that in?
It's in space. I mean, if you want to get theoretical, it could be in some sort of substrate, like an etheric field of something.
Well, there are
Virtual
individuals that
particles can bounce in and out of existence in this field if there was something there. So there might be something there. But just for speaking in standard narrative terms, plasma cosmology is still leading the way. I don't know. Do you need there to be a medium, an ether or something?
No, I'm
asking.
I'm just
Higgs field,
trying to get
quantum field or something.
Yep,
Quantum plasma.
that right there made no sense, but okay.
It made no sense. It's
Just
literally
tacking on the word plasma and it doesn't mean anything.
No, dude, I didn't do that. Dude, this is
It's
part of
like listening to
quantum
Lemon.
physics. Quantum plasma is a real thing, you knucklehead. What is
This is
wrong
like
with you?
Lemon. This
You're
is like
so
if Lemon
arrogant.
got really high.
Look
and
it
we
up,
had to
dude.
listen to
Look
Lemon
up
get
quantum
high.
plasma, you fucking knucklehead. Who are you talking to? They don't know who they're talking to, guys. That's what it is. They think that I'm some sort of a knucklehead who's going to make something up. Look
It's
it
like
up right now.
it's like putting your
Put your money where
eyeball
your
in
mouth
your
is.
ear.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. Oh, you see it now, right? Quantum plasma. Whoa, it's an actual standard theory. It's a part of fucking quantum physics.
If
Oh my
you
God,
put
it's getting
if you
weird.
put your eyeball in your ear, could you see what you're hearing?
If I stuck my dick in your if I stuck my dick in your ear, would you hear me coming?
If your tongue gets over your eye tooth, can you see what you're saying?
If your mouth keeps leaking, do you need something to wipe it with? So seriously, did you look up quantum plasma yet and figure out that you just made a bunch of stupid statements at me? There you go. I'll take
You're
your
just
silence as a
asking
yes.
questions.
I'll take your silence as a yes.
Yeah, that shows how childish you are. Just because he doesn't respond, you claim victory. Good work, dude.
Grandma,
Oh, you want to talk too? Why don't you look it up? You claim my loss
Because you sound like Lemon, who got
You want a
really
red face
high,
too?
and then then you sound like a fucking
because I'm
retard,
California,
dude.
because I'm from California, and this is how people from California talk. That all of a sudden you have to be condescending because of where I'm from.
Yeah, play
Really?
the victim, dude. Now play victim
Right?
based
Oh,
on
I'm
where
not the
you're from.
victim. You're not actually just fucking saying a bunch of felonious bullshit about me.
Felonious. Oh wow, he's got big words.
Grim, you got to admit, man, you live on the fringe. You know, a lot of these things aren't accepted in mainstream science.
What, quantum plasma is not accepted in mainstream science?
No, it seems like the way you're trying to tie it to reality, you know.
What he asked me to say, what is it in? I said space. I gave him the standard normal answer because I don't need to have a fucking medium for us to be winning in the cosmological realm of alternative cosmologies. I don't need that. I'm using standard data coming from the fucking same people, the ones that are actually writing and changing the narrative as we speak. You're just not paying attention. I'm just paying attention. It's not like I'm smarter than you. It's perception. Imagine I'm standing on top of a building and I see a large wave coming. It's not that I'm smarter than you. It's just that I'm standing in a different position than you to see this. So I'm going to tell you down there on the bottom floor, hey, there's a large wave coming. And you're going to be like, oh, you think you know everything.
He's here to save us, boys.
Is that what you got from that?
Yeah, pretty much. Messiah complex. You have special knowledge.
Jesus
You're here
Christ.
to save
Special
us.
Knowledge.
You're not
before
smarter
you
than us,
knowledge.
but you're just
It's not
looking in the
special.
right alternative places.
You're just trying to be disrespectful. Because it's not special
Dude.
knowledge, obviously. It's in the journal. Dude, it's in the regular fucking journal, bro.
But what you just said,
show some respect.
You just put yourself on a plateau on the top
Show
floor.
some respect for your
Show
standard
some
narrative.
respect to Grim from
Hey,
California.
Try attempt to bring it back to the conversation, just because I'm not sure where it's going headed. But
insults, man, for a minute.
What was the context of the what did you say? Quantum plasma. What was that in context to? Of the plasma, sorry.
What does he want it to be? You know, so I started naming standard shit. You know, I want it to be a quantum